Hi everyone, my name is Val D'Ambrosio, for those of you that don't know me. I often like to say that I'm a joy pollinator. I'm a midwife for the soul, where essentially over 30 years, about 35 years, I've been guiding people back to what I call their true selves, really helping them feel more connected, more alive, and more in love with themselves, and ultimately, therefore, in love with their lives. And I wanted to just preface this 3-day webinar with some foundational things to just keep at top of mind as we did the first webinar, and it was so much fun. It just a delight. And I oftentimes, when I teach, and I mentioned this in that video, the first video, that I like to really allow my intuition to guide me, and I read the energy of the room. So I wanted to make sure I covered some things now before you go ahead into the first webinar, and that way I can hopefully answer any questions that might be there. So I want to just first start with saying that there's a reason why I teach the way I do, right? I start with the body rather than so much focus on the mind, because most of us have been taught to rely almost entirely on our mind, right? To think through things, to figure things out, to try to change our life through thought alone. And there's nothing wrong with the mind. The mind's an extraordinary gift that we have. It's just incomplete on its own. And for many, it's overused, right? It's like a muscle that we've been overusing, and we have these other parts of ourselves, these other muscles, if you will, that are atrophied because they haven't been used. So what I mean by the body first is that our bodies hold information. They hold information that your mind doesn't. So your patterns, reactions, your emotional states, and they live in your body. So when we have a certain thought and we think it over and over again, and maybe this is a worry thought, maybe it is a thought that, you picked up along the way from a parent. Maybe let's just use the example of money. Money's hard to come by. Money, other people get money. I don't have a lot of money. We might have some real lower ideas about our ability to handle money. And therefore what happens is that those thoughts will generate certain feelings. Those feelings will then ignite certain chemicals to be squirted into our brain. They go down through our cerebral spinal fluid, down through the fluid, into our bodies. Well, when it's repeated over and over again, over time, it starts to get locked in our bodies, where our bodies start to become the mind. So, therefore, certain triggers, external triggers or memories or anything like that, can trigger us to respond or react due to those already very cemented aspects and being in our body. So when we begin here, things shift faster. When the body starts to be involved and the body starts to learn a new way of being, new patterns, new behaviors, now we have the whole person working on making a shift. So if we want to shift to a new timeline, right? If we want to shift into a new way of being, a new identity, it's going to be really important to get the body involved first. So, and that really actually allows the change to stick, right? So most of us, and I'm not pretending to share with you anything you don't already know. So just bear with me. This is repeated for you to just write. Repetition's the mother of all skills, so just to kind of remember and to come back to. And for some, this may be new information, and my ask is just to stay open-minded. That's the best way that you can watch this information, is to just stay with an open mind. You know what you know. And as humans, we're limited in our knowing. We're limited in our energy. We only know what we know. And so when we open ourselves up to for new insight, new perspectives, it gives us opportunities to see things from a new filter, from a new lens, and then ultimately to have different experience. It's important to know that most of us are mostly operating from our unconscious, and many of those patterns are repetitive. We have the same thoughts, the same emotional tones, and the same ways of responding. And what happens is that I like to break energy down into two things, where we have catabolic energy and we have anabolic energy. And this really just allows it to be super, super simple, where anabolic energy is energy that lifts things up. It moves very fast. It's very light. It feels really good in the body. It's feelings like joy, bliss, ease, play, love, passion. It's phrases like I will, I can, I want to, I choose to. It's actions like taking responsibility, looking for the win-win. Right? Those are all anabolic ways of being. They're energies, right? They're ways of expressing the energies. They're ways of thinking the energies. Because everything's energy. Everything resonates at a certain vibrational frequency. So then if we think about catabolic energy, right? If we were to categorize the lower frequencies, the catabolic, the heavy, dense, they feel heavy, they move more slowly. Those are feelings like worry, shame, guilt, judgment. There are thoughts like I have to, I need to, I should, you should. It's a lot of, or I'd love to do that, but, that's a really good idea, but, like a lot of buts on the end of things. It's actions like comparing, competing, constantly trying to prove, and then it's actions like, I don't know, I can't think of anything right now. So you get the gist, though, right? You get the gist. So we have this energy that is really fast-moving and lighter. It feels good. And we have heavy, dense energy. And again, we're limited in our energy. We only have, right? So we are limited in our thoughts. We're limited, in our physical body. You go out in front of a moving truck, you're gonna get hurt, right? So to me, I'm like, well, if everything's energy, and if I'm the one that's creating my reality, then I want to be really deliberate about where I put my energy, number one. And I know that I'm operating mostly unconscious. So I want to get as clean and refined as I can in my energy to just weave my attention, my filter, my focus more toward what are the more higher frequencies, the more anabolic frequencies. That's where this foundational tool comes from. And this is the way I live. I see everything as energy, and this is the way that I actually operate, and I love it. And I find it extraordinarily useful. So the other thing that's important to understand is that the cycle of, life naturally moves in cycles, right? We expand, we contract. Look at nature. It expands, right? In the summertime, it's expansion, and then it's contraction in the fall time, right? And so there's this ebb and flow. And the goal isn't to eliminate contraction, to eliminate that challenge. It's learning how to be with it, to move with it with more ease, with more trust, with more allowance, with more steadiness. And when we can do that, we stop fighting life and things start to open more naturally. And so there's often value in contraction, I believe. I talk about this a little in the first webinar, so I'm not going to go too deeply in it. I just want to speak to the fact that since contraction happens, we get the opportunity to choose how we want to deal with what's in front of us. We get the opportunity. We're either reacting, or we can start to learn to respond, to really become conscious and present in what's occurring, and to act as deliberately as we can with what's in front of us. I love things like actually the physical practice of hot and cold therapy for this reason. When you go into high heat for an extended period of time, and you stay relaxed, you're teaching the body, I can handle this. You're teaching the mind, I can handle this. Then you go into extreme cold for anywhere 3, 5, 10 minutes. Extreme cold. Relaxed, right? Not relaxed. You're teaching the body that it can handle this. And so when we practice that, what's in front of us, we start to respond rather than react in life when things start to twist and turn. And you guys, come on, you've lived enough life to know at this point in time, you can't stop it. Things are just changing, things happen, things you weren't expecting happen, that's part of life. And so what we can do is we can change how we're responding to it. And every time we do that, when we're responding instead of reacting, we're shortening our refractory period. Essentially what we're doing is we're becoming more emotionally intelligent. So when we get into the body and we start training the body, because you can sit here and go, no, I'm relaxed, all is well, all is well. If you have a memory in your body of a previous time that something similar like this happened, or somebody had told you that that's going to be really hard for you, you can automatically go into the adrenaline in your body, the cortisol raising and the tightness in your shoulders and everything else, and start operating, even though your mind might be saying, all is well, I trust the universe, So it's really marrying the two, and then you have brain and heart coherence. You're actually, the body and the heart and the brain are all working together in those moments. And so there's a practice in getting familiar with this. If we've been living in fight or flight, if we've been living in survival state, which about 75%, or most people are living there 75% of the time, it's important to retrain ultimately the nervous system, which is what we're doing. And so I want to be really clear. When I speak about return to joy, what I'm saying is that it's useful to think about, okay, if we were to take joy and we were to go, okay, joy is, okay, I'm aware of what joy is. I can experience that. Well, what else is it like? Play, fun, lightness, bliss, pleasure. And so we start to bring and start to tune ourselves to look for that more in our lives. And so when we start to look for that and we set the intention, we plant the seed to go, I'm going to invite in more joy, more pleasure, more lightness, more higher frequencies in my life. We have something called the reticular activating system in our brain, the RAS. It starts to look for those things for us. It starts to find them for us. And so all of a sudden, we might start to experience a little bit more gratitude, a little bit more peace, a little bit more excitement, a little bit more enthusiasm. And the more we do that and we start to see we're safe in it and we start to get more and more familiar with it and the body starts to memorize that and we start to imprint that more, that starts to increase our own personal joy meter. It allows ourselves to experience life at a more sustained energy of a higher frequency. We stop taking things less personally. We stop putting so much attention on what others should or shouldn't do. We just stay in our own lane more. And that's the greatest gift we can do for ourselves. Everybody's creating their own movie. Everybody is their own director of their own movie, and it's none of your business. And so you get to decide, okay, if it is really my business here, and it's my life, what do I want to recreate, right? Who do I want to be? How do I want to walk the earth? And so a few things, let me look at my notes that I wrote down. I just want to see that I was thinking about some questions that I wanted to have for you before you even watch the first webinar. And I just want to be really clear, you guys, this isn't about fixing, it's about becoming more aware of what's already happening and learning how to shift your state from inside and inside out. So it's not incumbent upon getting that job, getting that person, being in that relationship, your body looking a certain way. It's shifting yourself from the inside out. So it's whatever happens on the outside, there's internal state is more and more solid and becomes more and more solid. And that sense of safety and trust is within you no matter what. So questions before you watch day one. Just sit with them, let them percolate. Let's see what happens. What does joy mean to you? What other energies feel similar to joy to you? And it's useful, the reason why it's useful to go back through the Rolodex of your own history. When have I actually experienced that in my life? Just to see that you may have evidence. You may have evidence. And the reason why I also want to do that, and this is a little bit of precursor for what we're going to be doing beyond this, is what brought you joy when you were in your teens, when you were in your 20s, when you were in your 30s, I don't know where you are in life, right? It was probably different. Right? I know for me, I don't get as jazzed up going out and drinking and partying until 2 a.m. I just don't. It's not a thing for me. So returning to and discovering my joy at who I am now, it's been a process. It's been a discovery phase. And I talk more about that in webinar 1. I just want to really say that it's sometimes useful to go, oh, okay, I know what it's like. It's like, I think about it like, if you were in a relationship and you had a beautiful relationship and it ended, you had your heart broken and anything else, and maybe for a long time you closed your heart off. You close your ability to really be intimate and close and connected with somebody. When you start to awaken that again, it's almost like you get to be 18 again or 23 again, where you just start to feel a part of you that's like, yes, and it's coming alive again. So the memory is useful because we can tap into it, yet we're tapping into it from the wisdom of who we are now. We're not tapping into the pain of the story and the what we didn't do and we chose the wrong person or we did something too soon or whatever. We're tapping into, oh God, that felt really, really good. And I just want to hone in on that. And then I want to just see where I can start to discover that, right? So what we do is we're going to go into what does joy mean to me? What other energies feel similar to joy? When have I actually experienced that in my life, right? Just looking for evidence. And this nothing, we don't have to force this. We don't have to, just let things open to you. Just let yourself explore and be open to the experience of it. And then the next thing, if you want to get a little bit more juicy with yourself and you start to practice this in the first webinar, is how does that feel in my body? How does it feel in my body? And I want you to start to become aware of catabolic energy in your body and anabolic energy in your body. Catabolic, heavy, dense, how are we being? Are we rounded forward? Is our head down? Are we breathing more shallow? Anabolic energy, our shoulders are back, or our head is lifted, right? So those are really useful things to become aware of. So for those of you that are actually watching this and the webinar is still happening, join us live for the next 2 days, May 5th and May 7th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time and 3 p.m. Pacific Time. There's something really powerful about being in this space together, truly, especially live. And I also open it up for coaching at the end, and I open it up. We just remember, like I said, we're very organic. So we'll go deeper, and you'll be able to feel this work in real time, which is beautiful. If it's already happened and you're watching this is a downloadable program, essentially, is that my invitation is watch day 1, take a break in between, watch day 2, take a break in between, and then watch day 3 and apply the prompts that I have for you. You can do whatever you want, of course. This is your movie, remember? That's just my suggestion. So have fun, stay open, and I'm so, so very grateful you are here. And I'd love to hear how this goes for you. I'd love for you to stay posted, send me messages, whatever vehicle you want to, email, if you want to send it through Instagram, through Facebook, whatever you want to do. And if you're interested in working with me, I will also make sure I'll let you guys know about what that looks like at the end of the webinar. So take great care, and I'll see you on day 1.